So, you find somebody, they are a good fit, you're a good match for each other, then you get married. And then you can start thinking about babies. That's the process, that's the formula. It should not be the other way around. However, if unfortunately the kids come first, this person is agreeable with you, you think you can work out together, you think there's a good chance for you guys to have a good family, then it's also good to settle early for the children's sake. In that case, for the children's sake and for your own grounding. And my philosophy still stands that you should take your time, wait it out, grow up, build your bonds. Build your bonds. You must have a very strong frame. Women are also not easy. They come with so many challenges, and some of them also come to chip things off you. They come with axes. So they must find you when you are a solid oak, a big solid oak, such that when they are chipping away, they're chipping away on something that's never gonna bend or break. If they find you as a feeble stalk, they're just gonna tear straight through you. And women are attracted to value. Women are attracted to value. You must understand that. So take your time and build value for yourself. What are you worth? What are your liabilities? What are your assets? What's your net worth? The difference between the two. What have you done for yourself? Spend time building you. Don't spend time buying women drinks, spending money on women, etc. Buy things for yourself. Buy all the watches you need to buy, because there'll come a time when you can't buy watches. When you can no longer buy the watches that you want, fancy, crazy Rolexes. If you want to buy a Rolex in your lifetime, it's either in the 30s or well into the 60s. Otherwise, there'll come a time when you can't buy it. And if you can't buy it, if in the 60s you don't have wealth, then you forget about the Rolex altogether. You'll never be buried with a Rolex. It'd be good to be buried inside your casket with a Rolex. Yeah? Something worth $20,000. And then you enter your casket with it. That's now being a total man. Total. It's not bad. And these are things that we need to lionize as men. What do you look out to? You shouldn't also just be very mediocre and very modest and non-aggressive. You've got to burn some of that testosterone into something. You've got to wish and want things. So your 30s, build and buy things for you. This is the best time also to now buy land that maybe you think you'll put a house on. This is the best time for you to buy assets that make money for you. Buying land doesn't mean building a house. You can buy the land and leave it, let it appreciate, for later when you will now build a house onto it for your own self. But it doesn't make a lot of sense for you in your 30s to be living in a 1 billion shillings house and just putting that whole 1 billion on a pillow. I think it costs you more in that case. I think if you spend more time building assets, businesses, things, properties, things that generate income, those are things that will help you later on in life to now build that dream house where you can live with your wife and your children and etc. So the 30s are about build. That's when you get the building blocks out. Now I'm talking about the real building blocks. Every single time in your 31, 32, 33, 34, you should aim to put up every single year you should have a chisengedilo. So by the time you're 39, you should have 10 of them, each bringing you a certain amount of income, maybe 500,000, such that by the time you're 40, there's 5 million passive income that comes whether you are alive or dead, whether you're doing what, whether you have a job, whether you're sleeping, whether you're awake, etc. That money just comes. If you can even do better, that's even fine. If you can push it to make it 2 of those every single year, that's fine. And these things should not be expensive. They're easy to build. That's the clientele that we require. The country is overpopulated and all the people require. We don't have building societies, we don't have housing units, the government doesn't invest and involve itself in housing. So it is a great opportunity for you, great opportunity to take that space. And don't waste a lot of money and time on big fancy houses in your 30s. Not yet. No, that's not the time. So build the muscle at that time. Now if you obviously see a girl that you like, that's fine, you can lock her down and etc. But try and limit the number of girlfriends that you have, because that's a waste. That's a money waster. That's the time you're gonna spend money. These things we do of going to bars, and then you splash, and then you throw money around, and then you want to show that you're a big boy. In your 30s, those things don't help. Anybody who should be doing those things, it should be much, much later in your life. If you want to do those things now in your 30s, you only just bring yourself challenges that will come later on. You don't know what kind of challenges are waiting for you in future. So save whatever you can. This is also not the time for pomposity. We live in a toxic society where people don't like to see you prosper, unfortunately. And that's why I'm saying you guys need to learn from our mistakes. Some of us have learned the hard way that people do not want to see you prosper and move so fast ahead of them. So if you are in America, in Luxembourg, in Canada, in Germany, etc., I would not mind you flash, push, kick, make sure you get up there and be big and bold and strong. But the society in which we're in requires you to be humble, to have humility, to hide, to be modest. That's what they want, to be like them. The minute you're not like them, you're going to face challenges. Opportunities are going to pass you by. Opportunities that would ordinarily have come to you will no longer come to you because people will be envious and jealous of you. The jobs that maybe you could have done, people say, no, that guy has enough, or that guy comes from a very good family, he doesn't need this, or that guy, no, why should everything go to him? That's the time that these things start to happen. So the more modest you are, the better for you. Sometimes you just need to be, a wheeler dealer. Don't throw all your cards on the table, So be modest, be kind, be gracious, but above all, be very physically fit. Now, get into your 40s. When you get into your 40s, there's a high likelihood that really at this point in time, you have gotten a girl from your past relationships, from your past time. If you haven't, it's not the end of the world. For goodness sake, it's not the end of the world. You must understand that there is a lot of peace and comfort in the absence of constant companionship. There are so many guys like you who wish that they were free, but they are not, because there is somebody with them all the time, everywhere, every day. And there's so many things they can no longer do that they would have been able to do that would have helped them. So you now have an advantage over them. Don't feel bad that you're alone, you're single, you're what. Don't be sad. It's an opportunity now for you to also galvanize. But be very mindful of what are the factors that are leading up to you being single. Are you a disagreeable person? Are you shy of relationships? Are you short of manners? Are you a dirty person? Are you unkempt? Are you hard at hearing? Do you take long to learn things? So it's also not a very good spot to be in. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Take time to learn yourself. It's not a deficiency, but it's something to be mindful about. So there's no deficiency whatsoever, but be mindful. Why are you by yourself? Don't be lonely. Being lonely is terrible, and there's so many ways you can avoid being lonely. So many things you can do to make sure that you're not lonely. But also, you can use this time. Now, in your 40s, galvanize, consolidate. Everything you tried to do in the past, this is the time those things start to mature. If they were businesses, this is the time to make them entities on their own. They should be standalone entities, which do not involve your commitment nor your time. Your time should start to free up. You should free up your time. If you're spending more than 2 hours on an entity every week, 2 hours on an entity every week, there's a problem. If you're spending 2 hours on a tenant every week, that's a problem. If you're spending 2 hours on a business every week, that's a problem. If you're spending 2 hours on a farm every week, that's a problem. You're not going to prosper and get into the desired end state if you're in that situation. These things should now become entities that work alongside you. They're like those brothers that you used to have in your 20s and 30s. Now these brothers are your entities. The things that you built in your 30s, they've now grown up. They're now, limited liability companies. They don't even bring any liability to you. If they're being sued, they're being sued on their own. but all you get from them is a profit. You cream off a profit. You put the right people in place, the right managers, the right management, the right operations. Your job is strategic. You come in to understand how are things going, what do we need to do, how can we improve. If it is a house, you paint it once every 6 months, that's it. The next time you see, it's just money on your phone. The tenant has paid. If you're involved in now chasing tenants up and down, then there's a problem. That should be somebody managing that for you at a commission. Don't be greedy. 90% of something is better than 10% of nothing. So this is the time for you to let those things grow and mature. And if they're not making sense for you, if they are loss making, if there are challenges to you, you sell them off as soon as possible. In your 40s is the best time to offload toxic things, toxic assets, toxic businesses, loss making businesses. Don't carry those things beyond your 40s. Give it a bit of time, try and see change management, change this, change that. If it's not making any sense, offload. The more streamlined it's become, the more formal it's become. If it's a proper company, it has a proper management system, it's well registered, the easier for you to offload it. So you start to now galvanize and build your bonds into what are you going to become, what are you becoming next. You're now taking it to the next level. You must use your 40s to also build independence. This is a time where the loss of a job should not be the end of the world. The loss of a loved one, you have to guard yourself against the three Ds: death, divorce, debt. Those are the things that can really damage your 40s. You've got to be very careful about them. Death, divorce, debt. Those ones can wreck your life. So you've got to be very careful. A lifelong partner can leave you at that time, and it can be very emotional, so it can collapse your whole livelihood and your future and etc. But you need to be able to pick yourself up and make sure it doesn't affect you. If it does, then obviously you have to press your reset buttons. Debt can creep up on you. You have to be very careful around that time. This is the time to make sure that you draw a very strong, solid balance sheet. List all your liabilities on one side. Don't worry. Don't fear liabilities. Don't fear debt. Don't fear to be in debt. Don't fear to be indebted. Don't even fear to be in default. It is not the end of the world. The question is, what are you doing about it? If you're folding your hands and waiting for the bus to knock you, it's going to knock you.